Hello everyone, my name is AZZATRU, how are you, and welcome to another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video of mine. And in this video I'm going to be sharing with you instant action and co-op gameplay, plus my first impressions of these two game modes coming to Battlefront 2. Also, this video was made possible by the EA Game Changer program, so thank you to EA for flying me out to Gamescom. In case you missed the info on what instant action and co-op modes feature, I'll be doing a quick rundown of both of these brand new modes before getting into my impressions on them. I'll start with instant action, the large-scale single-player offline experience. It will see two teams fighting over 5 command posts, similar to Capital Supremacy. You have to hold a majority of them until your team score reaches 100%, and that wins the game, so it is slightly different to Capital Supremacy. You'll be fighting alongside AI in your team, as well as a complete team of AI. This is completely offline, so you can play this without an internet connection. The enemy team will be made up of regular troopers, reinforcements, heroes, and vehicles. Yes, there is hero AI in the game, as well as vehicles and reinforcements. You'll be able to spawn on command posts using the new contextual spawn system, and you'll be able to choose either the light side or dark side. So if you want to play as the droids on Geonosis, you can do that, or if you want to play as the clones on Naboo, you can do just that. When these modes release in September, you'll be able to play instant action on Naboo, Kamino, Kashyyyk, Geonosis, and Felucia, the new map coming to Battlefront 2 next month. Dennis has said instant action will unfortunately not support split screen at release, so you can't play with someone else on your console. The reason being is they have to ensure they're hitting their performance targets on all platforms to maintain that stable 60 FPS and have the amount of AI they want. So I believe it's 38 AI plus yourself at any given time, and they want to make sure they can reach that. Okay, moving on to my impressions. I'm not the target audience for this game mode, and would not play this really at all ever, because I just don't like playing against bots. It's just not for me. I found it boring personally, and a lot of the time the AI would just group up and stay in groups rather than move around and do things. It felt fresh to start with, but got boring very quickly, especially as I have played many hours of Capital Supremacy, and this is essentially just the ground phase. The AI did just not seem to be much of a threat. I know DICE will be tweaking them before the release. They've been making a lot of... They've already said this build that I played was already out of date, and they've already made significant changes, but this is just from my personal experience. This is a work in progress, and I expect the AI to be better, but I'm just not sure how much better it will be. Hopefully it's significant, but we just don't know at this moment in time. You could get overwhelmed by groups of droids or clones and killed, but it was all a little too easy for me. I can see this being very useful for those of you that want to get better at the game, much more so than arcade because it's more of a multiplayer style experience. Or if you want to try out new things such as heroes, if you haven't been able to use Anakin a lot or Obi-Wan and you want to try them out and get better with them, this is the best place to do it, I think. It also appears that you can earn credits whilst playing this mode, very similar to arcade when connected to the internet. So as long as you stay connected to the internet whilst playing, you will earn credits, but offline you won't be able to because, well, there is possibility of hacks and mods being introduced here. Okay, moving on to Hero AI. I only played against Dooku, but Grievous and Maul may make launch. That is the intention, but things may change. Overall, it was cool to see, and the UI of the health and stamina was nice, bold, and clear, but it just felt too easy and basic and not ready for release. Dooku would sort of just stand blocking for ages until his stamina went, and then you'd be able to kill him easily. There was no dodging from my recollection, and it just felt more of an annoyance, like an immovable object that you just had to keep shooting at until they died so you can go and take a command post. It was not really a challenge, just an annoyance, and the DICE devs did say that the behaviour is not where they want it to be, and they want to improve on it, but at this state I just don't find it fun, but it's a start at least to see it in the game. Reinforcement AI was more of the same as infantry. It was cool to see droidicas and commando droids as well as super battle droids roaming the battlefront and engaging with combat. Although the droidicas would sometimes just keep transforming on the spot and not attack you, DICE are aware of these major issues that I'm bringing up. You know, I've had feedback, I've spoke with them, they saw it happening, And the other reinforcements seemed a bit more polished. The droid commando was a bit hit and miss though. I felt like sometimes it wouldn't do anything, but at other times they were quite a challenge, especially because of how fast they move. Vehicles, so starfighters and tanks, were not in the build that we played, but they should be there for release. I'm not sure if all the vehicles will be supported for launch, but it seems pretty much all of the ground vehicles at least will be there. We are still over a month away from release, so things may change. And DICE is still locking down the details, and they'll give us the final details as we get closer to release next month. Settings is another key part you'll be wanting to know about. What customization will I have in instant action? Well, because of how the build was set up, it was a developer build. I didn't have access to the front end of the game, so I could not see what settings they had in place. But DICE devs did say they would be expected things like difficulty, battle point gain rate, and things like that to be there. They also want more advanced settings in the future. We just don't know when, but they're going to be taking on board all of our feedback and implementing this as an ever-evolving piece of the Battlefront game. On a more positive note, this will allow for so many good mod opportunities. Because it's fully offline, modding will be able to advance with new stuff, and you'll be able to use those mods without worry of getting banned. I really can't wait to see what the modding community can do when they get their hands on this update. Okay, so moving on to Co-op, the 4-player PvE experience. This allows you and 3 others to play together with some AI on your team against an entire team of AI. This includes troopers, reinforcements, vehicles, heroes, and of course villains, just like instant action. It's very similar, it's essentially the same AI, it's just that you'll be playing with 3 other friends or 3 other randomers if you choose to play matchmaking. So players will be taking on an attacking and defending role, so it's not quite instant action. For example, on Naboo, you'll be playing as the droids attacking the clones, or on Camino, you'll be playing as the clones defending from AI droids. There'll be various parts of the map that you have to defend and a time limit. So AI will play as attackers or defenders, including reinforcements, vehicles, and heroes. It'll be available for all of the Clone Wars era planets at launch, so Camino, Kashyyyk, Naboo, even Felucia when it does drop, because it comes with the same update, which is very good to hear. And I was told that you could invite just 3 friends, and if you didn't have 3, you would still matchmake. So if you had 1 extra friend, you would matchmake and search and get 2 other people in, basically. Or you could just matchmake yourself and find 3 random players. You can also earn XP and rank up using this mode, as it is always online. You can't play this offline. It's always online at user servers, and you'll be able to rank up, I don't know to what extent, because those details are pretty scarce at this moment in time. It was hard to use a developer build to gauge this, but that's what we was told and that's what we saw in the menus. Slightly different to instant action and capital supremacy, but there is a timer of how this mode works. So you have a set amount of time to capture or hold command posts. Again, they're reusing command posts because that's a very familiar thing and it's something people really like. I felt attacking was much more rewarding and more fun than defending. The 10-minute timer was a little bit too long for me, personally, especially defending. It just seemed to drag on, and the AI was never really pushing. And there was only sort of one area where there was pushing when you let them capture various command posts and there was like 1 left. It just got really repetitive, and attacking was a bit more fun because there was more sense of urgency. And this was because the droids did not come out and attack, and it felt like it was harder as there were plenty of enemies protecting command posts. But it seems like this was more of an issue with AI, which they're looking at changing, because same goes for instant action. If you did not attack a command post, the clones and droids would both just stay on 2 command posts, and the 3rd one in the middle would be neutral. It got really weird and boring, and same sort of goes for the co-op. I think it's a good start where you're going to be able to quickly find some fun battles alongside friends, but it needs expansion after launch with more options, so ways to play and content. For me, I would love to see modes like Extraction or Ewok Hunt. I have suggested things like this to DICE today when I got my hands on this mode, and I was like, look, this is what I think would be pretty cool, like other modes, not just capital supremacy. I would love to see this become more of an open sandbox with loads of different settings, loads of different content, just a fun as well as complete fantasy. You know, you could be really specific and say, we're just going to be 501st clones on Camino, and that's all we're going to do, or we're going to go totally crazy and do completely other things. Like, I just think that's what Battlefront is all about. So there you have it, that's all of my first impressions and gameplay of Instant Action and Co-op coming to Battlefront 2 next month. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Is this something you're more interested in than myself? Because to me, I just don't find interest in killing bots. It's just not my thing. I prefer to play against random players and have more of a challenge, but that's just my perspective. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new around here, check out any of the 2 previous videos on screen if you did miss them, and I shall see you all in my next Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Goodbye.